They're killing us. They're killing us. Okay, I came out here to tell the whole world about what's happening in Egypt. Egypt now is isolated. There's nobody, there's no way of communication. The army has been deployed in the streets. No security, police pulled out. People are being killed in the street. I just called my brother and he was screaming, they're killing us, they're killing us. It's really bad out there, and I hope everybody just to help us. They're killing us.
Egyptian, and I'm here for a year, and I'm here to spread awareness about what's Egypt going through. We're trying to make our president, who's been our president for 30 years, of corruption and poverty. We have 30 million Egyptians who are under the poverty line, and unemployment, and lots of people are just not happy, and they want him to leave, and he doesn't want to leave. So I'm just here to spread awareness and show my support to my families, because they even cut the internet and communication, and it's very scary. And
thank you. Thank you. People want Mubarak. 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 People want in the news, the economic and political crises are extremely violent nowadays in Egypt. So I'm here to do the best we can to support Egypt and to raise awareness of what's happening there.
And let's face it, he's probably a Manchurian candidate. And when I say that, I mean that he's been placed into power by the globalists. And so he is dancing around trying to figure out how to keep screwing the Egyptian people over while acting like he might still be in favor of democracy, but that's all bullshit. So, the U.S. response has typically been to not support the Egyptian people. They're scared of the Egyptian people.
Hosni Mubarak has been in power for 32 years. He had been in power for about 10 years when he joined the war coalition in the first Gulf War. You'll remember that Saddam Hussein mocked him as light-headed Hosni. Well, he's nevertheless been holding on for 32 years. This obviously is a government which has brought some stability, but not much else, and certainly not much in the way of economic progress, except we should point out that the political situation in Egypt always depends on the price of bread and the price of wheat, and that these deliveries of wheat are often controlled by the United States. And there are plenty of examples over the recent decades of things that the Egyptian government thought of doing, wanted to do, that they were prevented from doing simply by the idea that if you go ahead and do these things, we, the U.S., will make sure that you don't get any wheat. And then within a week or two, you'll have bread riots going on. And in some ways, what you've got going on right now is a bread riot with some political coloration laid over it by the international media because of the international significance of Tunisia, Assange, WikiLeaks, of course, the detonator of this entire thing. So we're told that Israeli intelligence, the Mossad, sees an earthquake across the entire Arab world. Notice, though, that what the CIA is doing, and the CIA is the prime outside agency involved in these things, it is the card of ochlocracy. It is mob rule. Notice that rioting, when you're rioting against austerity, rioting against the European Central Bank, rioting against the European Commission, or against Papandreou or Zapatero or Socrates or the Fianna Fáil, accent on fail, in Ireland, you're going to be demonized. That's going to be frowned on. But when you have mob rule in the Arab streets, this is applauded. And I understand now that the headquarters of Mubarak's political party is being burned down, and there is no indignation such as occurred when the bank in Athens was burned. Of course, a couple of people died in that, tragically enough. So it's clear that the U.S. is smiling on ochlocracy and mob rule in the case of Egypt. And, of course, we should always bear in mind the lessons of Marcos, a U.S. ally who was stabbed in the back by Paul Wolfowitz in that case. We should, of course, bear in mind the lessons of the Shah, another U.S. ally stabbed in the back by Carter Brzezinski. And, of course, it was with the help of Carter Brzezinski that the Shah was brought down and the successive regime was then brought in. What are the possibilities in Egypt? Let's just go through them there. We can more or less give you an overview. Suppose Mubarak stays in power. This will then depend on the army. Remember, Mubarak is an Air Force pilot. He is a military man. He's essentially a general and a soldier himself. It's possible that Mubarak will stay in power. The army, which is a conscript army in the case of Egypt, has been sent into the streets. The army now being cheered by the civilians, the police not popular, but the army more so. The army, if the army decides to maintain Mubarak in power as an alternative to chaos, that probably leads to at least another period of several years of stagnation, depending on how long Mubarak stays alive. This, of course, is a perfectly feasible outcome. The Washington Post tells us that the Israeli intelligence believes that Mubarak can stay in power, and the fact that the Egyptians have developed a fairly sophisticated apparatus of repression, if you will, indicates that they might be able to keep Mubarak in power. Above all, because the internet has now been shut down. So Twitter, Facebook, the entire CIA armory of subversion has essentially been muzzled. Apparently, cell phone service has been cut, even normal phone service, and indeed, quite possibly, even satellite phone service has been jammed.